Well, Brendan, I know it was disappointing not to be able to play in that last game in Rockford, but just in general terms, your thoughts on the playoffs for your hockey team this year?
Yeah, we battled through, quite a bit of adversity, and we weren't able to get what we wanted out of it. But there was a lot of good takeaways for a younger group of guys. So there's definitely a lot to bring into the offseason for our group.
Just looking back on the first round when you're able to eliminate the defending champs, how valuable was that experience for your team to be able to not only rise up but get it done on the road in a tough building like that?
Yeah, it was great. The way we rallied in an elimination game, our team's first, was great. So that's what you want to do. That's the kind of winning mentality you want to build, and taking off a really good team like that in an absolute war of a series with them. So there's a lot of good takeaways. That Rockford team was a great hockey team, really deep, and was too much for us to handle. But two different teams in two different situations. I don't think things could have gone any better for them, and couldn't have gone much worse for us.
That Game 5 in Grand Rapids has to be memorable for you with the way you're able to come together, not only yourself, but with that line.
Yeah, things have came together at different points in the season, and I think they've came apart at different points. So it's been an up and down year, but there's definitely a lot of takeaways.
Team-wise, what a season it was, in particular going back to the first half, and 16 without a loss in regulation time. Is that going to stand out for you as a memorable time?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm referring to when I say we went through a lot of adversity. We didn't have that group for playoffs, so it's hard. It's hard to string wins together. That's the team we were expecting to be, but we just didn't have the same personnel, so it's hard to do that. But with that being said, that same team that didn't have those key pieces, we were able to knock off the defending champs. So there's definitely some positives to take away, but it's going to be hard. Like that's what I meant when I said that Rockford group's deep. They just had that team that when we strung 16 together, they had that group, except they had it at the end of the year and in playoffs. So that's kind of how this league is. The older you get, you realize those teams, the deep teams, they get guys, they add bodies, some veteran guys, and it makes it hard to play against those guys when they've done it a few times.
Big steps forward for you individually this year, not just in terms of numbers, but overall growth in your game. What jumps out at you from this campaign?
Yeah, definitely a different interview than last year. A lot of positives to take away from my season this year. I thought a lot of the strides I wanted to make with quickness, with pace of play, I made steps in the right direction. I'm happy with my season this year personally. Lots of room for improvement, but definitely a lot of positives, yeah.
When you look at this league, Brendan, obviously the number one goal is development. Winning is great, of course, as well, but when you see the number of guys that are making impacts with the Jets, to have both teams, the Jets and the Moose, go into the playoffs here, 2-3 rounds, would you categorize it overall and say that certainly from the Moose perspective, it's serving its purpose and this was a highly successful year for what the ultimate goal is?
Well, yeah, I think from an organization standpoint, the ultimate goal is definitely a Stanley Cup. So when you're playing in the American League and you're one of those guys that's been up and down, you understand that. So you want to win wherever you are, and you always want to help your team. I'm not worried about helping the Jets when I'm playing for the Moose. But with that being said, that's the ultimate goal. And so it's definitely serving its purpose when both teams are doing well. It's hard to do. That's kind of what we got caught up in is, one team gets banged up, the other team's going to get a little depleted. So it can be a challenge at times, but that's what it's here for, and it makes it easier on them, and that's what the ultimate goal is, and I wouldn't do it any other way.
Have you heard anything yet? Sometimes when clubs are still going and the AHL team gets eliminated, they'll call some additional players up. Any idea yet if you might find yourself up in the Black Aces, as they call them?
I don't know. I still got to take care of my head. Got that puck to the face, so I'll see how I'm doing, and then I haven't heard anything, so I can't really tell you yet.
Yeah, and just on that point, obviously frustrating to not be able to play in that last game. Just a fluke occurrence there, I guess, in the second last game.
Yeah, I've never happened to me before, so it was definitely a weird one, but part of the game, unfortunate. I know Sudsy feels bad, but there's just nothing you could do. I probably shouldn't have went behind the net and warm up, but caught it, and that's kind of the way it goes. And nothing you can do.
And I know we're talking about the Blues, but what did it mean for you to get your first NHL goal of your career?
Yeah, it was great. Honestly, feels like about 3 years ago that happened. It's been a long year, so. But, yeah, it was good. I'm, a lot of guys had good years this year. Really happy for Corms and Buddy. They furthered themselves and had, career years, and so it was good to see that. And then a lot of guys have taken a lot of steps forward, so it was a good year.
And last thought from me is, what can you say about Darren Kramer announced his retirement?
Yeah, I just gave him my jersey. I absolutely love him. Probably one of the best teammates I've ever had, and just great person and character, and we're gonna miss him. We love him, and we'll see. Maybe I'll try to get him come back one more year.